Okay, so I have all of the things that I need to assemble one of the columns for my theater room. I've got a 10.5 inch wide by 1/2 inch MDF board. The two sides 3.5 inches, and the front face, which is 10.5 inches wide. And I just need to assemble it. I've got my countersink drill here, and over here I've got my driver. I've got some wood glue and the 2x2 blocks that I'm going to use to fasten it all together. If I had a staple gun or a nailer, I could probably put these together a little quicker. But basically we're going to make an open-sided box and then finish it. Let's get started. Okay, so this is the technique I'm going to use to fasten these columns together. I'm using 6 by 1 1/4 drywall screws, attaching the 2x2 block. The blocks are about 6 inches in length. And this is the side of the column, 3.5 inches wide by 96 inches long. And I'm going to attach these blocks about every foot or so along the length of it, and then go ahead and fasten the 10.5 inch wide top to it. So that's what's going on right now. Okay, so I fastened my 2x2 blocks all the way the length of this sideboard, and I've countersunk the 1 1/4 inch drywall screws. So this is what the finished joint's going to look like. I'm going to use polyester filler to fill the screw countersink holes. Take a random orbital sander and go along this edge, clean it up, fill anything that I need to. If there are any voids, make a nice square box. So that is the first joint. I'm going to continue along here with the screws to fasten the top onto the side. Okay, so this is my final joint on this. As you can see, I've attached the blocks to the sideboard there, and I've pre-drilled my countersinks in the top, the face of the column, and we'll go ahead and attach it with these 1 1/4 inch drywall screws. It's not necessary to drill a pilot in these blocks because the screws are sharp enough that they'll pull right through it. Okay, so let's get that done. Okay, so today what we're doing is we're going to finish the theater column. First of all, I primed the MDF with a shellac based primer. And the reason I use a shellac based primer is if you use, say for example, a water based primer on the MDF, the grain of the wood will swell up and it'll be really difficult to get smooth again. And it'll seal the MDF wood, and then you can sand it off to a nice clean finish. I sanded it with 150 paper on my orbital sander. The molding we're attaching today is base cap molding, pine pre-primed, and it makes a nice decorative trim on the columns. As you can see, I've got an area boxed out on the bottom, and then a taller section boxed out on the top. I'm going to go ahead and attach these with these wire brads. The wire brads, they're number 16s by 1 1/4. Alright, so a little wood glue on the bottom of the base cap molding, and just nail them on with brads. After this is all complete, I'm going to go ahead and fill the nail holes. We'll do a final sand on the filler, and then we'll paint it.
What do you fill the nail holes with?
You can use a wood filler, or you can use a painter's putty. And that's
Okay.
it.
Okay, so once you do that, you sand the...
Then if you use the wood filler, you have to sand it off, obviously. But the painter's putty, you can just put in the holes and then paint over.
Okay.
Okay, so after I put the brads in, I use a nail set. To get them just below the surface. All right. Now let's line up the next piece.
My husband's already attached the trim onto this column, and he still has to fill the nail holes and sand it before painting it.
My dad's about to paint them. So yeah, right now he's stirring the paint. So we'll be back when he starts painting. Okay, he's painting the columns now. You're putting the first coat of paint on the columns. And now he is almost done with the first coat of paint on these two columns. When he is done painting, I'm going to show you guys what the first coat looks like.
All right, so the first coat is on. We'll put the second coat on in the morning.
Hi, Sam. The molding pieces that you're putting on this column, got it all measured and penciled off here. Okay, he's got the second coat of paint on the columns for the theater room, so let's take a look at them. So that's cool, looks good, very nice. Okay, so 2 more columns, so altogether that's 5 columns in the theater room, and I'll show you later what it looks like so far up there in the theater room with the other columns. These columns have like a thinner profile. I believe the first 3 columns were 4 inches. The depth for these columns are 2.5 inches, only because they're going on the back wall, and I didn't want to take up too much space with the columns protruding out, so we decided to make the depth a little bit shorter for the columns that are going to go along the back wall. The first 3 columns are on the side wall, so they're 4 inches, so they come out a little bit further, but it's okay for them to take up more space because it's not really interfering with anything. But for the back row, my concern was that they may interfere with the recline of the chairs there, so that's the reason why this profile is a little bit shorter, but you won't even notice it once they're on the wall. So far he's done an excellent job. Let me see if I can get top view of it. Yep, looks good. Looks good. Good job, Daddy. Good job. Very nice. He's going to install the columns next weekend. So, looking forward to that.